Testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Could y'all hear me good? Am I low? Am I too loud? How's the levels? What's going on, Callie? Uncle Ralph, what's going on, my brother? All right. Good looking out. Good looking out. Yeah, man. I just wanted to get on here. I didn't get to do a live yesterday, but I definitely did a premiere. Lazy days. Oh, Henny, what's going on? So I say, yeah, let me get on here today. So I was I was thinking, this social media era. They say, the youth is very disrespectful. They don't got no manners and respect. But me, I got I be around a lot of youth, and I don't think the youth is disrespectful. I think is the adults. I don't think we lead them by example. Now, when I was coming up, you had adults who carried themselves in a respectable, dignified manner. Then you had adults, that cut up, that acted, juvenile. When they was cool when you was young, they was cool. They acted a fool and all that. Adults acted a fool. But did you really respect them? Did you respect them more than the adults who carried themselves with respect and dignity? Miss Pamela. And when you was a kid, when you was thinking about when I become an adult, what type of adult am I gonna be? Am I gonna be the carefree, juvenile mentality type of adult, or am I gonna be an adult, that carries themselves with respect, dignity, and passes off, drop jewels and information to the youth? Right. Respect is earned, it's not given. And the way you earn respect is to give respect. So it's kind of like it's a catch-22. True bug. But nowadays, adults, us adults, we don't want to grow up. Like, it's our turn now. We are in control collectively of the world. We rule the world collectively, people in our age range. And we don't want to grow up. We think this is never land. Like, we don't want to grow up. We trying to dress like the youth. We trying to be the latest fashions. We competing. Some of us competing with our own children. Like, we competing with the youth. Only facts. Salute. What's going on? So so how are we going to expect the youth to have manners and respect, and we don't have it? We don't respect each other. Everybody act like they got a chip on their shoulder. Everybody act like they got an attitude. Everybody act like they some type of tough guy. Everybody, everybody's seeing who could be the most disrespectful, who could say the most disrespectful things, who could be the most ignorant. It's like a badge of honor. Now, when we was kids, we was young, that was cool sometimes, dependent. But now, as adults, nobody want to deal with people like that. Nobody want to be around people like that. I don't want to be people. I used to be people like that, but I don't want to be people like that. And once I decided that I'm not going to be people like that, I still had people like that around me because I was people like that. But once I decided I don't want to be people like that, then I start slowly realizing I don't even want people like that around me. So, in real life, I stay away from things like that. I stay away from people like that. And on this particular platform, I'm staying away from situations like I'm staying away from people like that. Now, when you become an adult, you understand, listen, you only can account for your actions. So sometimes, you can't account for people being disrespectful, but you can account for not being around those people. You know what they say, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So once I figure out somebody's character and how they act and how they treat other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I pay attention to these things because I carry myself in a certain type of manner. If I'm disrespectful, I'm not trying to have no type of relationship or nothing with you. Like, I'm just being disrespectful because I don't like you. I don't want you around me and stuff like that. But just to be disrespectful for no reason or because I'm in a bad mood or something like that. If I'm in a bad mood, I stay away from people. But it's sad, man. When I was a kid, I couldn't wait to be an adult so I could, conduct myself like an adult and do adult things. But now that I'm an adult, I see a lot of adults still acting like children. How do you deal with an adult in an adult manner that has a juvenile mentality or acts childish? How do you deal with it? You don't. That's what I learned. You don't deal with it. That's their problem. They need to deal with that. Unless it's, a close family member, a child, something like that, a significant other. Sky Swizzy, what's going on, my brother? And listen, I'm just putting this out there. I know it was a time and point and period. I got a younger brother. So when he was growing up, things was different. You couldn't, spank your children. You can lose them to the system, to the state. So kids, but when I was a kid, listen, man, they had like something called BCW where they'll come take you. But my mama said, okay, I'll call them for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I needed to be spanked. You know what I'm saying? I know people say, you don't need to do that and all that, but I needed to do that. You know what I'm saying? I needed to get spanked. Pause. You feel what I'm saying? I don't want to say a beating. That's how we used to say it, but if I say that, then people gonna take it as, I was being abused or something. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, Pamela, like even a baby, even a baby, sometimes you need to spank a baby on a hand. Like, don't touch that fire. That fire gonna hurt more than this right here. You know what I'm saying? They don't know no better. You can't explain it to them. Listen, fire, hot. They don't know what that is. You know? So that's why our parents used to discipline us, because they know when we get out into the world, if we have certain behaviors, it can turn out worse than a whooping or being disciplined. It can turn out worse. You could be in jail, you could lose your life. So, I didn't understand that as a kid, but as an adult, when you have children, you start to understand. Now, your children's supposed to have, a life of their own, and when they get out, and pay their bills, and they can have a life of their own. But until then, their life is mine. Like, that's how I was brought up. Because at the end of the day, when you're a certain age, if you do something, it falls back on the parent. But listen, I used to be outside past curfew, nighttime. And I'm like, I can take care of myself. But when you have children and all that, and they miss anything could have happened. You don't know. They ain't call you. Something could have happened. So, yeah. I needed to be because punishment really didn't work for me, I'm gonna get right back at it. You punish me, I get right back at it. Or I don't listen, I'm on punishment. I sneak out. I'm not gonna get a whooping when I come back. I'm gonna get put on punishment. I'm already on punishment. Sneak out again. That whooping put fear, John Illuminati, what's going on? So I think, either, people, nowadays, y'all didn't get whoopings, or I don't know what. I don't know, because y'all don't have no respect. People is just disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And people think they can't get they whooped. Excuse my French. They can't get their ass whooped. Pause. See, when you grow up and you get disciplined, like, I used to suck my teeth, I get popped in my mouth. Oops, pause. Roll my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I was taught not, I'm a man, so I was taught not to have sassy, it was called, my mama called it sassy tendencies. You know what I'm saying? Rolling my eyes, sucking my teeth, pause, like, female stuff. So some of y'all, saying the wrong, being disrespectful, when adults is speaking, being in grown folk business, all of that type of stuff. I don't think y'all learned that, because y'all people still, is mad disrespectful. Like, people have no manners and respect. So you might think you're looking cool and all that, but you're just embarrassing your family. That's all you're doing. You're embarrassing the people who raised you. I mean, unless they ratchet too, that's a different story. But how you expect your children to respect you? Like me personally, if my parents was on social media acting a fool, I wouldn't think that's cool. I would hope my friends never find them. You coming up in the era, imagine, your mama had OnlyFans or some type of online, sexual escapades and stuff. Like, we got to think about these things. You know what I'm saying? It's like you try to warn your children about people and things like this, but then you become this on it, social media. So now you tell your children to stay away from people like you. But children, the youth, they usually do what they see and not, what you say. What you do and not what you say. See, where my parents made a mistake at is they told me when I pay my own bills, when I have my own place, I can do whatever I want. But that wasn't true. I couldn't do whatever I want. I couldn't do whatever I wanted. You seldomly get to do whatever you want in this world, in this country, or whatever system you in. You got to do what you can. And it don't matter how much money you got. See, we was taught, oh, you think you got money, you can do anything. And a lot of people, disrespect people's deceased, people's parents, and people, it was a code back then. It's not because somebody was scared to do it or scared of somebody or they didn't have the heart to do it and all of that. It's just that it was a respect thing. You don't want nobody disrespecting your deceased or your parents, or it was rules to this. You feel me? It's sick, wicked people out there. And when they see, some people see, oh, if you cross that line, they gonna cross a line. And that line they cross, you ain't gonna be ready for. Frankie Blanco, salute. Appreciate you, my brother. What's this? A super sticker or a super chat? Salute for the super chat. So you never know, you never know. People change, with situations and how they feel. So one day, you can be joking with somebody and everything's cool, but another day they could have been in a bad mood, something happened, and you joking with them, and they react in violence, and you don't understand it. I'm just joking. So you got to pay attention to people, moods and your surroundings and stuff like that. Like, Gio, what's good, my brother? Flat Earth. Appreciate the share, my brother. You know what I'm saying? So you never know. You could be walking by and step on somebody's shoe, and something happened, and you can lose your life for that. You can lose your life not being disrespectful. Somebody's just in a bad mood. So that's why it's good to have manners and respect, because you never know. You never know. And then if you carry yourself with manners and respect, and if somebody try to violate you and all that, you more justified in doing what you got to do to protect yourself or what have you. You didn't do nothing. You didn't antagonize. You didn't provoke. You didn't do anything. You carried yourself with dignity, manners, and respect, and this person, crossed the line. They used to teach you walk away. Now, if you backed in the corner, you got to defend yourself. Now, personally, do I appear, do I adhere to these, rules and tactics? Not all the time. Like I said, I'm human. I could be in a bad mood. So you got to remember, if you could be in a bad mood and you could flip out at any time, anybody can. But growing up when you young, you taught if you walk away, you scared, you a sucker, you softball, like, but as an adult, you're doing adult things. Like you're not partaking in, foolishness and like for what? So it's a mental thing, you know. Sometimes, I walk away, I try to walk away and I feel like I got played out. But that's how I feel. But that's a childish feeling. You feel what I'm saying? So I know I got stuff to work on myself. I got a short temper. I don't. So I don't look for it because I don't look for trouble. Trouble's gonna come. So I don't try to look for trouble. You know what I'm saying? I did that already. And got to come back around. So I got to prepare for the old trouble to come back around. I ain't trying to get into no new trouble. Wow. Right, right, right. That's why Holla love the ladies. You know what I'm saying? I surround myself with ladies. I always uh ladies always, was attracted to me, but I didn't know, attracted like that. But I'm like drawn. You know what I'm saying? And they always try to keep me out of trouble and all that. So now I surround myself with ladies like that and people like that in general. You know what I'm saying? Some ladies get try to get you into issues and all that. I try to stay away from those type of ladies. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for the most part, yeah, that's what kept me out of trouble. I remember one time, man, I was getting my head braided, and I had it was half done, and something happened, and I went out and I got into some stuff, and if I would have just waited and stayed there and finished getting my hair braided, it would probably be a different result, But you learn, you live and you learn, Jessica, what's going on, Miss? Right, right. Listen, Pamela, I get it. I get it. Like I said, ladies, y'all gotta learn. Because we are men. We fight. We gonna fight. Not all of us. Some of us ain't fighters, and stuff like that. But ladies, y'all ladies, and we men. So y'all dealing with us men. Y'all have to find out ways of getting things done without the use of force and trying to overpower, because you can't overpower us, we men. So y'all have to figure out different ways. So y'all see things differently from us. We think at the end of the day, if all goes wrong, we gonna use brute force. You know what I'm saying? If all goes wrong, we gonna use brute force. Oh yeah, of course, of course, of course. Men are territorial. We competitive. We want to be number one. We want to be, the indoor teller. So when men, interact and all that, it gets competitive. Some men are petty. Some men are insecure, and some men, welcome the challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I welcome the challenge. I think that iron sharpens iron. So I like to be around, like people with the winner, go get a competitive, mentality, but not the competitive mentality where it defeats the purpose of the goal. Like if we all trying to get to one goal and we competing to get to that goal, it doesn't matter who win because we're gonna get there at the end. But now if we trying to get to a goal and you just trying to compete against somebody because they doing better than you, it's going against the grain. You feel what I'm saying? So you shooting yourself in the foot and everybody else. But Lotto, what's going on, my brother? Right, Miss Pamela. See, listen, I believe in leading by example. I'm not going to tell nobody to do anything that I wouldn't do or I haven't done. You feel what I'm saying? So I believe in leading by example. It's two types of generals or kings or whatever you want to call it. You got a field general and you got a hill general or a tent general. So the hill general or the king, they sit on the hill and they send the soldiers and the troops into battle. Or they sit in a tent or they sit on the throne or whatever. But a field general or king is in the front leading the charge. That way the troops is going to respect them and fight harder to protect them because he's like one of them. He's not only one of them, the first in and the last out. So they see the general or the king is willing to sacrifice himself to accomplish the goal. So they follow that. But the hill general, the tent general, listen, if the war gets too, it don't look like people going to win, they're going to start turning around, running back to that hill, to that tent. They're going to retreat. But anyway, that was just an ideology of mine. So, I apply that to my life. I lead by example. So when I tell people, don't follow me, follow the example, follow the code. Because if I break the code, I'm no longer the leader. Because the best leader is the greatest follower of the code. Right. Especially, yeah, you never know when the youth is watching. I say the youth is like, when they say the angels is watching, I think like children. Yeah. They like the angels that's watching. You know, we could corrupt them and turn them into little demons. Yeah, but besides that, you know, I just got on here. I just wanted to talk about that. Manners and respect. We need to bring that back. Hashtag manners and respect. We need to make that trend, make that popular. Grown folks business. Hashtag grown folks business. Appreciate you, Miss Jessica. Yeah, we need to start hashtagging stuff like that, you know, making that popular, you know? Because it seems like nowadays people is just following trends of what's popular, but it's just the negative things that's popular. So if we can make, you know, positive things popular, manners and respect, dignity and honor, we can make that popular, you know, we can make that trend. People will follow. If you build it, they will come. Pause. But I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Salute to the members. Salute to the genuine supporters, the subscribers, the people watching from behind the scenes. Everybody on the catch this on the replay. Right, Pamela. And that's a difficult thing to do in a world that's built on wrong. Inspection, what's going on, my brother? Appreciate you, Miss Jessica. Appreciate. Listen, I'll drop the call line. Y'all got any questions, any comments? I'll drop the call line if anybody want to come up here saying anything. You know what I'm saying? Remember, this is the Sirius platform. I am Holla, KTBs. Leave the foolishness at the door. Drama free. Who the hell done? It's cool. I took a break. Okay. Appreciate you, Miss Jessica. My mic. I hear you, Miss Pamela. It's all good. Well, I'll be back after this brief intermission. We are back. We are back. Salute. Salute. Appreciate you. Frankie Blanco for the super chat. Miss Jessie. Well, today's Saturday. How's y'all weekend going so far? Kenzo, what's going on, my brother? Can y'all hear me? Am I is my sound sounding? All right. Good looking out. Well, yeah, we was talking about manners and respect. How they seem to have declined in this time. We trying to bring it back. We trying to bring back manners and respect. Hashtag manners and respect. Let's get it in the algorithm. Let's make it trend. You know. It's simple little things like that. Like it's simple little things that we can do. But we don't. Some of us be on here all day, every day. We can make change. Like, we can make some noise. I mean, maybe we may not make change, but we can definitely make some noise. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag manners and respect. You feel me? A wise man once told me, you can't change the world, but you can make a difference. So we could do something. We got, that ain't nothing too difficult. Yeah, man. But like I said, man, I'll be out, outside, as they say, outside, and I interact with the youth and stuff like that. And for the most part, the youth is respectful. A lot of these kids is, they entitled. They just don't understand, the world we come from. Man, what's going on, my brother? I tell them stories, they be in awe, like wow, and then they older, the people over them, was younger when I was out there. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the times the stories they hear about me, I gotta like sometimes it'd be like extra. I gotta like, let them know, like, nah, listen. Because in the hood, stories, and after all of these years, this is this first time I'm experiencing, like, after the fact. So, during that time I wasn't thinking about now. But nowadays people think like that. They think about, yeah, I'm gonna do this now because in the future it's premeditated. Like I wasn't thinking like that. I was just living. I was just trying to, adapt to the environment. But these youngins, they don't, these young, the problems they have and the things they talk about is, it's just, I'll be lost. You know what I'm saying? But it's serious to them. Social media, the latest fashion, the name brand. I don't be knowing what's going on. They really find this important. I tell them, how you got on $300 jeans, a $200 shirt, $500 sneakers. Your drawers probably $20-$30 pause, and you talk about you broke. Can you hold something? You could get some $60 jeans, $100 sneakers. You know what I'm saying? $30 shirt. You know what I'm saying? $10 pack of some boxes, and have some money in your pocket. You ready to go rob and steal and, sell drugs, Oh, you could get a job, And then they swear I'm retired. They swear, yo, you can put me on, man. Put me on. I can prove myself. Listen, you need to go to the job and talk to them like that when you're trying to get a job. You want to put in work. You're willing to do what it takes to, go, Do a nice job, man. Listen, man, selling drugs is played out, especially in New York. You ain't getting no money. You might as well do Uber Eats. Go get one of them city bikes or something, city mopeds. Get your Uber Eats. You know what I'm saying? You can make money off YouTube. If I was young, listen, monetize. People will pay, hit your super chat and members only to see me hanging out on my corner, like on my block. Like if I was young, you see, I'm too old for that now. I ain't sitting out on no, respectfully, sometimes I'll go out there for a little while for y'all, for the content and all that, but I got a whole house. Like I ain't sitting out on the block. But if I was young, you sitting out there already. You out there, you ain't doing nothing. You might as well get on YouTube, monetize, sit around and, you get paid for it. This ain't the 90s, the 80s. This ain't the early 2000s. You gonna tell, yo, put me on, man. I'm trying to get on. Trying to get this money, man. We can't do that. We can't do that. So I let the youth know, listen, man, that's played out, man. You listening to the old, to the raps and all that, that's played out. Is a trend, is a style. People, want to look like they getting money. They want to look like they in the gang, like they dress like that, they talk like that. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't really about that. You know what I'm saying? And then when you get caught up in something real, now you want to tell. You ain't have nothing to do with it. It was a misunderstanding. Tiara, what's going on, Tiara? I tell people, back in the day, I used to tell them, man, if you're going to choose this life, I don't care if you're my brother, I don't care who you are. If you're going to choose this life, you got to stick to the code. And if you break the code, there's consequences. It don't matter if I love you. So I tell people, don't get into this. I tell people the bad stuff. A lot of people tell people the good stuff. Oh, you can get all the girls. We're going to be hanging out, drinking, smoking weed, going to the party. They fear us and They don't tell you all the bad stuff that come along. I tell people the bad stuff. And then if they still want to do it, that's on them. But, it is what it is, man. Life is life. It's going to keep lifing. After, your life is over, it's going to keep lifing. Me getting to this age, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of death. I've seen a lot of, life. Tomorrow's not promised. You could be the best person. You could be the nicest, sweetest person. You can listen, and bad stuff can happen. You could be the most worst person, and good things can happen to you. You never know. But just remember this: your life is your life. Don't worry about nobody else's life. Live your life. Unless it's your children, or your wife, Now, girlfriend, it depends, Well, let me drop the link if anybody want to hit the call line. I'll definitely, what I'm saying, before I get up out of here. But this was definitely a nice bill. I appreciate y'all. But I was thinking about this. So I said, let me get on here. I ain't really have no topic and all that. But I said, man is in respect. It's not enough. It's not enough of it. I used to be a disrespectful, angry, vengeful demon. Mannerless. But it's like everybody's doing it now. I don't like to do what everybody's doing. Like everybody want to be a gangster now. Everybody want to be a baller. Everybody want to be a drug dealer. Everybody want to be the man. Everybody want to be a tough guy. I don't want to do what everybody else do. See, when I was doing it, everybody wasn't doing it. Yeah. Well, give me 1 second. 1 second. I'll be right back. Hold on. We back. We are back. Yeah, man. So like I said, I hear a lot of people on here, speak about the youth. But when I look on here, I don't really see the youth getting into a lot of issues, on here. Like I don't, you hear, there's a couple of them and all that, but for the most part, it's older people who's on here cutting up, getting into all types of mess. The youth is on here. They, it looks like they on here doing well. They doing their little skits. They doing their little, you know, they in luxury cars. They in foreign cars. They in nice houses. They having fun. They not flossing. They not talking. They not boasting. They not on here. Yeah, I got the new Ferrari. They doing the gold digger pranks and all type. Oh, look at my house. It's better than this YouTuber's house. And I got this car. They ain't doing all that. They living life. Only older people was on here doing all that. On here cutting up. Showing off your car, your house. Well, you grown. Now listen, if you was young and all that, you got a foreign car, a house and all that, you 19, 20, okay. But you mid 30s, 40, 50, like sit this one out, player. Let the young players play. Mecca, how you doing, Mecca? You're out there, man, you know. The dad bods, the skinny pants. You know, it's like, come on, man. We gotta do better than this, man. Pulling up outside, disrespecting the deceased, disrespecting people's, like it's just nasty work. It's ugly. It's ugly. And this is not the young people. This is not the young content creators and all that. This is not the young celebrities. This is old celebrities. This is older content creators. It's not the young people. So maybe we doing something wrong. Maybe we doing something wrong and they doing something right. Nah, Pammy, it's more like 35 to 60, maybe even older. Because I done seen a couple of older people on here cutting up. They was hiding behind the drill. Oh, you know, the drill music. The drill music didn't make up it didn't make up the most percentage of the foolishness going on social media. 35 to 75, yeah, 35 to 75 made up, at least 80 to 85% of the foolishness that goes on here. Look at it. Look even the celebrities. Look at the celebrities going back and forth with each other. They going back and forth. Like, look at them. They not young. Look at the content creators going back and forth. They not young. Saying the most ratchet, disrespectful, like, we ain't have no who's that comedian TK? Who raised you? Like, we ain't have no type of good upbringing. We just be on here cutting up. I know the young folk be like, I don't know, we gonna stay away from them. It's like reversed. Them old folk over there cutting up on social media. Them old folk cutting up over there. to the point that people in their mid-30s, they think they young. It's crazy. Wait, hold on. I think we got a caller. Hold on. What's going on, caller? Are you there? Caller, are you there? I can't hear you. Can y'all hear the caller? Oh, we can't hear you, caller. We can't hear you. Some technical difficulty. Yeah, man. Okay. Well, I mean, let's see. I'll give the caller some more time to come up here, but if not, I'm about to get up out of here. This was a great bill. Appreciate y'all. Salute to the members. Salute to all the genuine supporters. Salute to the chat. Salute to everybody watching behind the scenes. Salute to everybody who catch this on the replay. It's your host / DJ. Holla at your boy.